afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and on behalf of Kitchener City Council, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2016 State of the City Address. I'm sure that when you received your invitation to this year's event, you looked at the address and wondered, where in the world is this place? And you obviously passed, as Rod indicated. And then you likely hopped on Google Maps and became even more confused. Finally, you pulled into the parking lot and thought, surely this can't be the place. And yet here we are. We chose this location for today's event because it is quite literally a physical representation of the Make It Kitchener philosophy. Originally an industrial property, this space has seen generations of Kitchener makers. Built in 1955 by Rudolph Ardelt, it was originally home to Ardelt Industries of Canada. The company produced heavy steel machinery, including cranes, bridges, hoists, and mining equipment. 5 decades later, and until recently, this property was occupied by R Steel, who squared, beveled, and rolled steel plates on this site until their growth initiated a recent move to Cambridge. And today, this space has again become something new, in true Make It Kitchener fashion, thanks to property owner Ron Doyle's vision. 41 Ardelt is now an intersection of arts and engineering that puts artists, artisans, and engineers all in one place. A dance studio, a global innovator in precision making, and world-renowned blacksmith work side by side on the property, a clear illustration that our legacy as an industrial city has transformed over time. I want to thank Ron for making this space available to us today. And I'd like to thank him for dreaming creatively about this property as he did years ago about the Hacienda Seria property on the other end of our city. And most of all, for continually challenging all of us at City Hall to believe in a future for Kitchener that, quite frankly, sometimes stretches our comfort zone. This space is exactly what Make It Kitchener is about. How we all have the potential to take the spark of an idea and turn it into something that transforms how people live, experience their community, and connect with one another. We may not all be entrepreneurs, artists, or industrialists, but we are all makers. Together, we are making it in Kitchener. Collectively, with the input of more than 3,000 citizens, we have crafted a strategic plan that will guide Council and staff over the next 4 years. Approved by Council late last year, it's a plan that, when delivered on, will advance our vision of Kitchener to thrive as an innovative, caring, and vibrant place. A city where you can make a good living and live a good life. Our strategic plan reflects the 5 clear priorities you identified as critical to making Kitchener thrive. Open government, a strong and resilient economy, safe and thriving neighborhoods, a sustainable environment and sustainable infrastructure, and of course, efficient and effective city services. In and of themselves, these priorities could belong to any city. It's how we deliver on these priorities that will make it Kitchener. Because while our strategic plan gives us the blueprint for success, Make It Kitchener gives us the license to think big and dream bigger. Not simply as an economic development strategy, but as a philosophy. It gives us the ability to imagine our city as a conduit for game-changing ideas, as an engine of innovation. Together, we can advance a collective vision for this city and our region, a vision that will see our community thrive as an innovative, caring, and vibrant place to make a good living and to live a great life. We have already seen the impact that Make It philosophy can have in inspiring, game-changing ideas. Over the past 5 years, the Innovation District in downtown Kitchener has been transformed from an underutilized space into a dynamic, vibrant destination. It is now known as the destination for those who want to be close to the great minds and great talent making it innovative in Kitchener. Closely connected to incubators, education, and transportation amenities, the Innovation District has become home to some of the world's biggest brands. Google, Manulife, Deloitte, Canadian Tire, General Motors, Canon, and Thomson Reuters, to name just a few. These major brands have all seen the value in being part of an ecosystem that inspires innovation and connectivity, making it what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called an extraordinary hub of innovation at the cutting edge of the global economy. The potential to make it in Kitchener is limitless. Companies like Vidyard, Thalmic, Mapped In, Desire to Learn, and NetSuite have been thriving in downtown Kitchener, where they're growing and strengthening our economy, remain committed to staying in the core, and inspiring the next generation of makers to leave their mark. In fact, companies like Igloo, which has experienced 70% year-over-year growth for 3 years in a row, and who will significantly expand their workforce in 2016, say that their ability to make it is directly related to their experience in Kitchener. Their employees thrive working downtown, and they believe strongly in helping to revitalize the heart of the city as a vibrant place to live and to enjoy life. And while the brick and beam buildings and urban vibrancy of downtown is a key feature for many tech companies, it's not the only ingredient that enables business and industry to make it in Kitchener. Rapidly growing companies like Myovision, who just celebrated their 10th anniversary, operate in the south end of Kitchener and are currently exploring some exciting new options because of their continued rapid growth. Advanced manufacturers like ClearPath Robotics, who, like Igloo, was recently recognized by the Globe and Mail as one of Canada's top 100 employers, is located in the Huron Business Park. ClearPath is making it in Kitchener. 6 short years ago, it was a company of 4 people. By the end of this year, they expect to employ 200. One of the greatest strengths we have as a community is our ability to connect with the innovative companies like those I've mentioned. These game-changing companies not only provide great career opportunities for the makers, the dreamers, and the doers in our region, they challenge us and inspire us to continue thinking big, to make Kitchener smarter, more connected, and more complete. There is no question that our ability to innovate, to think big, and take bold action makes us a competitive, desirable city for businesses, big and small. But when we ask these businesses what keeps them here, it's this: that making it in Kitchener is about more than making a good living. It's about making a great life. It's about the communities, the connections, the experiences, and the opportunities that bring vibrancy and energy to our city, making Kitchener a magnet for the skilled dreamers and doers who make our city one of a kind. It is the connections people make with each other that are the meaningful and memorable parts of life. These connections must be supported by great places, spaces, and neighborhoods that are as distinct and diverse as the residents that define them. Last year, we jumped in with both feet to develop Kitchener's first ever neighborhood strategy. We celebrated the start of this work with our first ever citywide Neighbours Day, and we presented our first Mayor's City Builder Awards. And in the following weeks, we'll be launching our neighborhood strategy publicly with a launch party on April 26th, the second annual Neighbours Day on June 11th, and a comprehensive citywide consultation about neighborhoods in the coming months. In the lemonade stand consultations we've done thus far, however, we've discovered some interesting things. 62% of you love spending time with your family, friends, and neighbors. 38% love hanging out in the city's parks, trails, and natural areas. And how you move through your neighborhood is as important as the natural resources you enjoy within it. And we've discovered, in fact, that we're all makers. Together, we are making our communities safer, more complete, and more connected in ways that are quite literally made by you. In the Central Frederick neighborhood, the Frederick Street Art Walk brings people together as they meander through some of the city's finest old homes, admiring artwork and appreciating the company of friends and strangers on front porches and city sidewalks. They make it beautiful. Folks in Schneider Creek describe their hood as a quiet little pocket of homes, businesses, and a center for the arts. They celebrate their unique footprint in the city with a porch party that brings together musicians and community members. They make it fun. And after watching fellow neighbors in the Highland Sterling Community Group come together to build a cob oven, a traditional outdoor oven made of clay, sand, and straw bricks, residents in Cherry Park worked together to build their own cob oven, warming up their neighborhood and bringing people together to make and break bread. They make it delicious. In these simple and personal ways, we are making connections, making memories, making life interesting, meaningful and memorable, making it Kitchener. In Ward 5, Councillor Kelly Galloway Seelock has worked side by side with her neighbours to form the Williamsburg Community Association, secure a location for the Williamsburg Community Centre, and most of all, advocate for and see delivered in Budget 2016 dollars for a much-needed Southwest Park where residents can gather and play, making it connect. Across the city, Ward 2 Councillor Dave Schneider's placemaking efforts look a little different. He's been championing the addition of an all-season ping pong table to Domain Park, creating a space that will bring people together in new ways in this suburban hood, making it fun. In Sarah Marsh's Ward 10, citizens in the Mount Hope neighbourhood, concerned about traffic at a key intersection in their community, worked together with city staff to implement a stunning work of art. The Aaron Street mural slows people down in a unique and distinct way, making it safer. These are only a few ways that together we're making our neighbourhood safer, more connected, and more complete. It's stories like these that resonate with me. And as we've seen through our Love My Hood series on social media, they resonate with you too. The Love My Hood campaign, a labor of love by Laura McBride and Kaylin Scott, has been one of our most successful social campaigns to date. What began as an opportunity for you to tell us what makes Kitchener home for you has become a stunning testimonial to the people and places that define life in our city. To date, the Love My Hood Facebook campaign has reached more than 325,000 people. Over 6,700 people have liked it in total. It's been shared 432 times. And the most popular story in this series was this one. The story of Gladys and Mahfouz, who emigrated here from Lebanon nearly 10 months ago because of Mahfouz's job as a software developer. They came to our region after being told that it is the Silicon Valley of Canada. And like thousands of others, they are making it in Kitchener. Not only because of Mahfouz's job, but because of their neighbors, their neighborhood, and their connection to a city that embraced them. It shouldn't be a surprise that Gladys and Mahfouz are finding their place here in Kitchener. Our region has a remarkable legacy for helping newcomers like them. In response to Canada's commitment to welcome 25,000 Syrian refugees, our region opened its arms, settling more than 1,000 refugees in Canada, Waterloo and Cambridge, thus becoming a leader in Canada's nation-building initiative. And like the thousands of other new Canadians that have come before them to our community, I know that whatever the challenges of their past, our newest neighbors will find that they too can make it in Kitchener. It's safe to say that when it comes to making it in Kitchener, one thing that we can count on is that we're a community of makers who want to work together to see our city thrive. Time after time, you've answered our call for feedback to help shape Kitchener's future. Our strategic plan is a reflection of the priorities you defined as critical to the future of our city. Your overwhelming engagement in the development of our neighborhood strategy will make our community safer, more complete, and more connected. And your participation in our economic development strategy ensured that our work over the next 4 years will drive decisions that will continue to make Kitchener a city in which you can make a good living and live a great life. As a member of the Economic Development Advisory Committee, Ward 6 Councillor Paul Singh is a strong supporter of Kitchener's drive to become a destination for new and growing businesses and a compelling city in which to live. In his own ward, Paul is seeing the results of his advocacy for smart planning come to life as the former Kitchener Utilities facility on Elmsdale Drive is being revitalized as a dynamic and vibrant mixed-use space that will boast commercial and office spaces, restaurants, and residential buildings, making it new. And in the heart of the city, we have an unprecedented opportunity to shape our future with the sale of the Schneider's property. While this is private land, we as elected leaders must ensure that we seize the opportunity with the eventual purchaser to make decisions that reflect our desire to see a combination of green spaces, bike paths, transit, and mixed-use development, making a community of the future. In Ward 8, Councillor Zygyanetsky's insight as a former planner has helped him work with the Belmont Village Business Improvement Area to help bring a new life to this much-beloved, unique shopping district in an established neighborhood that is experiencing some new infill development as well. As we work together to make it Kitchener in these new and existing communities, we know that there's tremendous power in understanding and appreciating the value of our city's history and our shared heritage. Throughout his time on council, Ward 9 Councillor Frank Etherington has brought a thoughtful perspective to many heritage conversations around the council table as we've considered a number of important decisions, including the approval of new best practices that will further strengthen our ability to proactively preserve our history. But when it comes to preserving our built history, we can't make it on our own. We're inspired by the support of private sector developers who have the vision and inspiration to transform the brick and beam spaces that once belonged to makers of the past into vibrant and dynamic spaces for makers of today and tomorrow. As we focus on making our economy stronger and making Kitchener a compelling city in which to live, Ward 7 Councillor Bill Ioannidis is amongst the first to remind us that to succeed, we need to make it vibrant. An unwavering champion of the impact the music, arts, and entertainment industries can have on our economy, Bill has been a vocal supporter of our efforts to build our brand as a festival city. And our efforts to make it vibrant are seeing that brand come to life. The success of iconic music festivals in Kitchener, like the Blues Festival in Coy, has helped to cement our reputation as a city that makes it rock, helping attract new events like the CMT Country Music Festival this summer. These festivals and events inject millions of dollars of revenue into our city while also making Kitchener an exciting place to live and to visit. While these mainstream pop culture events help to build our brand as Festival City, we know that to truly make it vibrant in Kitchener, investing in arts and culture is not a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. We must continue to support the many talented artists in our own community as we make strategic decisions affecting sustainability of our arts community and its iconic institutions. As a longtime supporter of the Centre in the Square, Ward 3 Councillor John Gazzola was a crucial voice at the table as Council approved a new mandate for this organization, a mandate that ensures popular arts and entertainment and local arts and cultural programming can coexist to meet visitors' needs. This is a decision that will make arts and entertainment in our region sustainable for years to come. We know that making Kitchener a compelling place to live requires strong urban design and exciting and vibrant experiences to contribute to a great lifestyle. But we also know that to compete as a city and a region, we need to make it connect, creating opportunities for people to spend more time living, dreaming and doing, and less time commuting. We're a city that does business far beyond our borders, and right now there's no greater connection that we can make than the one we are building with Toronto as we champion the Toronto-Waterloo Region Innovation Corridor. With more than 200,000 tech and financial sector workers spread from the GTA to our region, more than 15,000 tech companies, and more than 5,200 startups, the Toronto-Waterloo Region Corridor is the undisputed center of our country's knowledge-based economy. This is a message local mayors Doug Craig, Dave Jaworski, and I delivered together with Toronto Mayor John Tory during our recent business development trip to Silicon Valley. We met with startups, venture capitalists, talented expats, and others, highlighting the many assets that give our corridor the competitive advantage. We told these audiences about the great living and great lifestyle our region offers. But what we couldn't tell them is that moving through the corridor is efficient and effortless. Congested highways and inefficient train schedules make life difficult for those currently commuting in the corridor. Access to two-way all-day GO and our high-speed rail trains would be transformational, enabling people to spend less time commuting and more time connecting. To make it connect, to realize our full potential as a global innovation hub, we need a bold vision and even bolder leadership from government, the private sector, and the education sector. We need the confidence that we can take on the world and win. And together with my colleagues, I'll be working with our federal and provincial governments to make this our collective priority. Of course, we also need to ensure that the infrastructure we're building within our borders can connect the thousands of people that are already here. We need varied and diverse commuting options that will move people throughout our city and our region, making it complete. We're almost halfway into construction of light rail transit in Waterloo Region. In Kitchener, the construction has not been without its challenges. Prolonged street closures have been difficult and stressful, and the ever-changing detours make it confusing to get around. Still, we forge ahead, recognizing that the investment we're making today will make our community more complete for tomorrow. And in fact, as we forge ahead, we do so alongside some of our city's boldest and bravest makers, like the first residents of the City Centre condos and One Victoria condos, who have chosen to make it in the heart of the city, pioneers of Kitchener's new urban lifestyle. And the bullish restaurateurs, recent ones like Be at the Museum, the Berlin, the Grand Trunk Saloon, Rhapsody Barrel Bar, Amaya, the Mercury Cafe, who have joined longer-standing ones like Gilt, TWH Social, 271 King, McCabe's, Cafe Pyrus, and more, who are individually making great food in our city's core, but are collectively making the downtown a destination for great food, a great time, and a great sense of community. These bold new urban residents and brave new businesses will benefit from light rail transit. But to make it complete, we need to continue investing in infrastructure off the beaten path as well, like the Iron Horse Trail. Used over 250,000 times a year, the Iron Horse Trail is a prime commuter route allowing residents and visitors the opportunity to move through the city by foot or by bike. Ward 4 Councillor Yvonne Fernandez knows a lot about the value of strong cycling infrastructure. An avid cyclist, she's a vocal champion of investments that will strengthen the safety and accessibility of Kitchener's cycling infrastructure. Like the recent decision by Council to approve a strategy that will see $750,000 invested this year alone to improve and widen the central part of the Iron Horse Trail. Bolstered by an additional $325,000 from the federal government, we will also be able to improve a 1-kilometer section of the trail along Cortlandt Avenue to accommodate both cyclists and pedestrians, while also improving the safety of this stretch of the trail. We've talked a lot today about what makes Kitchener an interesting, innovative, and dynamic city. We've talked about our neighborhoods, our diverse and adaptable economy, and about our ability to dream big. What allows us to succeed in these areas, and as a city as a whole, is that together we make it work. We make it work through a strong local government that listens to you, our citizens, as we make the important and sometimes difficult decisions that will shape our future. For example, in our strategic plan consultation, we heard that you expect us to think big, but to also deliver innovation and transformation within our means. We're committed to that. This year, Council approved a 1.46% tax increase, right in line with the rate of inflation. This tax increase will allow us to maintain the service levels you rely on. Yet, we also made the difficult decision this year as well to raise water rates by 7.6% and sewer rates by 10.8% to address the critical state of our city's infrastructure. While not an easy decision, to have kept utility rate status quo would have threatened our ability to provide basic services to our citizens in the future. A long-term strategy to address the backlog of aging infrastructure is necessary to make our city work. These rate increases are difficult, but when combined with the tax increase, Kitchener continues to be one of the most affordable cities in the province in which to live. While we're making these decisions locally, we know we're not the only Canadian municipality facing these kinds of challenges. As a member of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and in particular the Big City Mayors Caucus, I regularly ensure that Kitchener's voice on this and other key issues is heard with our partners both at the provincial and federal levels. This year, more so than any other, we've seen how powerful the municipal perspective can be in shaping the national agenda. The issues that you have told us matter, transit, infrastructure, affordable housing, have been reflected in the federal government's budget released just recently. As a city, we look forward to seeing how these commitments will impact life in our city and in our region. As your elected leaders, we know we can't make it work without you. Your voice, your values, your vision for making it Kitchener is the greatest asset we have. And we're committed to making it work together with you. Through the neighborhood strategy, we've seen the power of taking public consultation out of City Hall and into the community. And now we're expanding the ways in which you can interact with Kitchener even further, making it easier for you to share your feedback online. In 2014, 87% of citizens that responded to our Vrbanovic survey indicated a strong desire to engage with our city electronically. And later this month, we will launch a new tool, Engage Kitchener, to support you in doing just that. Engage Kitchener is an electronic platform that will allow you to weigh in on feature topics like the City Hall Outdoor Spaces Project and the upcoming Chicken Coop bylaw consultation in meaningful and interesting ways. Engage Kitchener will also provide an opportunity for those who don't typically get involved in democratic decision-making to have their say in making it Kitchener. I'm looking forward to seeing how together these new voices can help make our city stronger, more innovative, more caring, more inclusive, and more connected. And I know that our city staff feels the same way. There is no higher calling in terms of career than working in the public service. Every day, staff at the City of Kitchener embraces the chance to make a difference in the lives of their neighbors, their neighborhoods, and their city. It is their commitment to making it together with you that supports our ability to thrive as a city and as a community. From Kaufman, Arrow, and Electrohome to today's Velocity grads, Kitchener is a city of makers. We have been cultivating innovation in this city for more than 150 years. And our moments of great transformation haven't happened in isolation. They're the result of pooled creative energy, shared wisdom, and a common pursuit of big dreams. To make it in Kitchener means hard work. But as they say, many hands make light work. Kitchener's strategic plan and economic development plan were created with you, for you. They outline our promise as your elected officials and as city staff to support you as we work together to build a better city. Make It Kitchener is more than just an economic development strategy. It's one of the most powerful narratives we have ever written about what it means to live, work, and thrive in our city. And it's an invitation to join us, the makers, the hackers, the crafters, the builders, the big businesses and small, the neighborhood associations and community service clubs, the private investors and public servants. You've made shirts, ties, cold cuts, cookies, software, hardware, and art. You've made business plans, you've made diagrams, financial statements, and insurance policies. You've raised barns, you've built homes and connected roads, railways, and each other. You've lifted the hood, mixed up the ingredients, unveiled the hidden beauty in our city, and have been fearless with your hearts and your minds. We couldn't make it without you. You make it here in Kitchener. You make Kitchener. Thank you very much.